Matt from the Greenpoint Youth Court.
Hi everyone, I'm Matt. Good evening. As Ms. Hurson said, I'm from the Greenpoint Youth Court. We're just down the street on the other side of Manhattan Ave. I'm just here to raise awareness about our program and to see if anybody's interested in partnering with us. Somewhat like the Explorers, we try to get youth involved in the community also. In a nutshell, what we do is recruit and train high school students to serve as the judge, jury, and lawyers in hearing actual cases. It's sort of like a mock trial team, except the young people who serve on the court are handling real-life cases referred by the Department of Probation, the law department, local schools. We also take cases from the 94th precinct when young people are stopped for truancy or when there's a juvenile report written up. We have a training program starting in mid-July. Mid-April. We train twice a year in every fall and spring. The young people go through about 30 to 40 hours of training where they learn about the court system, they learn about restorative justice, they practice working in groups and public speaking and things to that extent. And the young people who do well in the training can earn spots on the court and start hearing real-life cases. It's a great opportunity for any young people who have ever thought about being a judge or a lawyer or going into something else in the justice system or a legal-related field. It's also just a great opportunity for anyone who's looking for an after-school program, or actually if the training goes well, it also has the potential to turn into like a part-time job. The young people who serve on the court earn a small stipend for their service because they're handling real cases, some of which might otherwise be ending up in family court or in civil court. Did you have a question with that?
Yeah, just what's the age group?
The young people who serve on the court are 14 to 18, so we're looking predominantly for 8th to 11th graders who would be able to go through the training in the spring and start hearing cases in the summer going into the following school year. Somewhat similar to the Explorers, we also do a lot of community service in the area. We've done projects here at this church. Hearing the cases is the bulk of what our members do. We hear over 200 cases a year. We also try to get them out and to do things in the community. I've got information about our upcoming training program. If anyone's interested or has questions about partnering with the youth court for community service projects or anything else to that extent, please feel free to find me. Thanks so much for having me.
Thank you, Matt. Okay, I have one more thing. I'd just like to introduce to you tonight, we have a new crime prevention officer, Officer Seletsky. Say hi, everybody. Commander, you're up.
All right, thank you. As Betty said, the first Wednesday of the month will now be our new date for our council meetings. After careful consideration, it was the date selected won't interfere with community boards meetings, won't interfere with the 9-0 precincts meetings, and won't interfere with other public holidays, election days, and whatnot. Okay, so as I always do, I'll go into our crime update. February was perhaps the warmest and nicest month, or I should say February we've had in our history, and we were up against maybe the coldest, snowiest month this time last year. Warmer weather usually means more crime, and certainly we saw that here. So statistically speaking, crime for February was up for us. The things we had problems with, most significantly from January to February, were burglaries. We experienced a significant spike in the amount of burglaries we had, specifically commercial burglaries occurring in bars after they closed, and the hours about 4 in the morning to about 7 in the morning. We were able to make a very good arrest, 2 very good arrests, I think, that have since we made those arrests kind of shut that pattern down. One guy we had gotten back in December when he did a burglary, a very grainy black and white video. Took that picture, gave it out to our cops. 2 of our guys, about 6 in the morning, I believe, felt they saw a guy matching that description. Spoke to him, were able to ID who he was. Didn't have enough that day to quite press any charges against him, but when they go back and view his color picture, because he had a long, extensive arrest history, compare it to the actual video of the burglary, we were able to determine pretty much that was the guy. Brought him in for questioning, and he was charged with that burglary. He was then later ID'd through a lineup seen by my police officers fleeing from a scene of a burglary, which we didn't catch him, around the same time frame these burglaries were happening. So he's been charged with 2 counts of burglary. Another gentleman was caught doing a live burglary on Union Street, coming out of a bar, was seen by my cops very late at night, chased him about a block or so, we were able to apprehend him. He, again, a guy with a long history of burglaries, and we were able to arrest him. Another case which was very successful that didn't quite involve my people, involved police officers from Queens, to give you a sense of how we work together. There was a gentleman who was, his car was seen at the scene of a burglary in Queens. Tracking him down, he had a long history of burglaries in Queens. They were able to get a search warrant for a GPS device to attach to his vehicle. A task force of cops were following him around Queens, watching him. Wasn't doing any burglaries in Queens. Again, no arrest history in Brooklyn whatsoever. On one day, they follow him into Park Slope, watch him go into a residence, come back out, follow him again through downtown Brooklyn, again, do the same thing, go into a residence, come back out. Wasn't carrying anything, didn't have enough to really stop him. Again, they follow him into the 94 precinct. They see him down and actually do a burglary into a residence. Don't quite stop him just yet. They follow him again back to his residence, stop him. Sure enough, on him had property he had taken from every one of those residences he had been seen going into. Again, this is someone who we weren't looking at all. No history of being arrested in Brooklyn. Wasn't like a normal picture we give out to our cops, but I think some very good police work by the guys in Queens. So he's been arrested. He's been charged with 10 counts of burglary. So that was some very good work. Again, one of the problems we've been having locally are robberies, street robberies. Groups of kids, 14 to 16, 17 years old, swiping people's cell phones. It happened several times in the last few weeks. 3 of those robberies happened on Roebling Street between North 8th and North 4th. Just the other night, Friday night, we ended up arresting a girl who was doing one of those burglaries with a group of kids, robberies with a group of kids. She was arrested. So hopefully that shuts down that pattern. As I mentioned at our last meeting, we've had some great success with the Find My Phone application. Someone had their iPhone stolen from someone. Our cops were able to track that stolen iPhone on their own phone all the way to the other side of Brooklyn, Bedford-Stuyvesant, to arrest the person on the street who had just done that robbery. Yes, you got a question? Is it only available on iPhones? No, it's not, right?
You get an Android.
Android has it, any smartphone. I don't think it has it for BlackBerry. BlackBerries aren't that smart. Okay. And again, one of the recurring problems we still have here that doesn't seem, no matter how many times you arrest someone for it, is car break-ins. People who leave their computers, very valuable property in their car where it's visible. Someone breaks the window and steals it. We've had some success over the last year locking people up for that and been able to put some people away. But again, that's one of those things that keeps on happening to us. So that's kind of a rundown of the things that have happened in the last 3 weeks since our last meeting. And we'll move on to some questions and answers. Anyway.